Like a young Slim Shady. Oh yeah? Oh. Disclaimer, I'm going to be in thrash mode 150%. This video will make no sense at all because it's going to be like a clip here, a clip there. But it's going to be fine because there's going to be butt jokes. That wang, back on. The wang. 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 Dang, fancy shifters, baby. Hey, yo.
Yeah, I'm gonna check all this line.
You didn't do the thing that Freddie Mercury does, so you suck, basically.
I don't even know Freddie Mercury.
He knows you, though. Smoker is pulling out the fuel lines. I did the converter bolts, and I'm just installing my shifter linkage now. My shifter's installed up the top. Drive shaft's back in, and then when it comes down, I think I'm gonna work on wiring. Everything else seems like it's mechanical that I have to do, mechanical or fab work and stuff like that. I'm good with that. The wiring is stuff that takes mental capacity for me, and
You're meant to be retarded?
that, what he said. I can't believe you picked up my new hood.
I took it into broad daylight with Adele on in the background, or whoever this is.
Tokyo carbon wrapped my little steel protectors. What a guy.
We're trying to be classy.
We are pretty classy. Look at this. All right, so the fuel tank, I measured it, the opening. It was 30 inches, so I was like, yeah, I'll make my fuel tank 30 inches. I didn't account for the 1/8 inch thick aluminum on the sides. So now it's 30 and a quarter, basically.
So that's like an inch and 3 centimeters.
Inch and 3 centimeters.
Past 30.
But it's too tight. Even 30 inches is a little too tight just the way the welds are in the back. So I'm gonna take an inch out of this side. Good thing I didn't weld it all up yet.
That's like 8 inches.
That's like 8 inches, yeah. I'm pretty close on my inches. So I'll take an inch out of this side. I just gotta cut this plate off the side, cut each one of these an inch, and then weld it back up. Little carbon wrap pieces here done, and then you also got the cowl on the back, and the hood is aligned now.
It's the same random carbon wrap that Kyle put on the door bar, just so you're not sliding over the metal.
And you can see that I've been running the wires inside, so we're slowly ticking tasks off our piece up here.
And if you don't use painter's tape on your windshield for to-do lists, get your life figured out.
But we'll grind into the metal that we're gonna cut off more than the metal that is. If we're being honest with ourselves, we're showing up to Texas with a car that we spent less on this entire build, motor, trans, everything in this car, than some of the guys there spent on just their motors, so.
Or just their transmission.
Or just their transmissions, like.
I mean, we're there to have fun. You're in the class with Brent Lasala.
I'm in the class with Brent Lasala.
Just grabbing a line to...
Yeah, this is just the quickest way to do it. I've used a caliper like this 700 million times, and I've also only paid like 30 bucks for that caliper, so suck it in, right? I have a pretty good kit battery in it.
Yeah?
Because it does come in handy. Because I'm not handsome, so you gotta find me handy. Or I gotta give it handy. What's the saying?
Get it? Yeah. If you can't find it handsome, you'd better find him a handy.
Yeah, if you're not handsome, you gotta give handies.
Oh, okay.
Didn't cut like perfect, but good thing we're welding it.
That was easy.
Yep.
The hang hole.
No miss. Not perfect, but it's okay.
Oh, welder, do you? Fill those holes?
Yeah, well, once you start like tack welding it in all the high spots, like here, then you just like tap this down a little bit, fill that up.
Are you gonna put any baffles up top just because, or no?
Nope. So we're gonna build the baffle tank below. think my idea here also is to like lay this almost as flat as I can in the bottom.
So you get usable trunk space.
And then I got a usable trunk space.
For your street car.
For my street car. And now they're not going to be perfect because like the gap is a little bit inconsistent.
Now that felt better.
Yeah! Starting to get the hang of it.
That was way better.
Yeah.
Weldy weldy face.
Weldy weldy face.
Show me your big hole.
So I just cut this hole. This is the bottom side of the main tank. And this is the big hole that I've cut here, and then this is our sumped tank. So this is gonna go here. This one is almost 2 gallons. So basically when we're at the track, we just have to level off basically this 2-gallon tank. And then when we're street driving, we can fill the whole tank. But you don't have to fill the whole tank up with C16 in order to like go racing, because this little sump tank is gonna hold 2 gallons of fuel.
So is there a way to fill the sump tank separately then? Like how do you,
No, you'll just drain everything at the track, all the pump gas out, and then when you fill it, you only have to fill it to the top of this tank.
Oh, I see.
You'll just pour it in the regular hole, but it'll all funnel down into this small tank.
I understand.
Yeah, and then that way you're not trying to fill this big, like 30-inch wide tank full of C16, because that would just be a waste.
I see.
I'm just trying to figure out how to put the fill in. So it's not going in this side, this is the other side. But I'm just trying to get, it's a really weird hole saw size. It wants to be like 3 3/4. But that's not a common, like you can just go buy that from a hardware store kind of deal. So
I see.
I've got a 4-inch one that we're gonna use. So you can see here that I've cut out our hole for the sump. I've also added one in each of the corners for this little sump too. So when this goes on, fuel can drain down through the corner pieces and through the center hole, but this area right here that's still plated in is going to keep it from sloshing out. So
it's like a splash plate or something?
Yeah, so if we like take off on the line and all the fuel accelerates to the back, it's not going to like come up over this lip and like pour out of this. So
I see. To like start the tank.
Yeah. Well, it took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but fuel tank is in there. It does sit a little bit on the low side, but this is the bottom sump. There's the top sump. I mounted it with some tabs on the side to the existing tank bracket that was there. I'm gonna put it down and see how low it sits right now, and then we can get a look at how much trunk space we have at the same time. Just for reference, if I drive over something like the width of my shoe, that front bumper is foobarred. So, keeping that in mind, that's pretty decently high off the ground. Yeah, lots of room in here. So our return, a little beat up. Our return is right here, and that goes down straight into the sump hole. Fill goes right in the sump hole, and then that's going to be our vent on that side. Not bad. At least we have like an area where we can put stuff on drag and drives. I guess Tokyo doesn't trust the welding, so we're going to fill the tank with water first. I mean, let's fill it up first. I love that. And we have the gas station of what, $100 in it now.
Well, 120 probably with the price of fuel. I'm still putting 20 bucks in mine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, I'll still put 20 bucks in, but
yeah.
it could take 120 bucks.
Take 120.
I mean, 40 bucks is a new 20 bucks.
It's true. 50 bucks if you're feeling spicy. If you hit the VLTs and grasslands.
If you hit the VLTs, you pump in 60 bucks, pull out 40.
Yeah. People in Texas, do you got VLTs? Because last time we were in Texas, I hit them at the gas station.
Exactly. They're at the gas station. They call them casinos. At gas stations. Work really hard this week, enjoy Mexico, and then come back and hopefully the car is like... So when I said I'm switching the radiator backwards, I didn't actually mean that I'm trying to go against gravity and like go in the bottom and then out through the top. I just switched the top ports and the bottom ports basically. So I put a dash 12 over here, and that goes to our can over here, our expansion tank, and then like the top piece right here goes to the top of the expansion tank to get rid of any air, and then that other one to the left of it goes to the steam ports, and that helps get that. So radiator is ready to go in. I'm not going to touch it right now because it's hot AF. Just finished welding it all up. Actually, I didn't finish welding it up. I can see down here that I didn't weld that. I should do that. I mean, if it was going to leak, it probably would have done it by now. I don't see a drop anywhere. I think we're good, dude. I don't see a drop anywhere. We didn't think about how we were going to get the water out, so we got this long -12 line out the door. I wouldn't sit right behind it either.
That wasn't so bad.
You can get that one to start threading on.
That wasn't so bad.
No, and then we're gonna have to like dilute it with some fuel and shit after too.
Yeah.
No big deal. Not even, you barely even got water in here.
Where's your squeegee? You took it into broad daylight and you scratched it.
You know, I kind of like it with the radiator in there. It says, I'm a streetcar.
And that's exactly what it is.
It is what it is. Tell that's what it is just by the way it is.
Yeah.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
Oh yeah. But I didn't do the hoses yet, but the radiator's done. Actually, the fuel tank. Fuel tank is done. And the radiator. I crossed one off and then had to write another one. You know, because it was like a sub goal.
We got her though.
Oh yeah. Oh. Hey, we got journeyman hog joggers now. How's that sound? Journeyman heavy duty mechanic. Oh boy. Good job. He's installing some of our coolant lines here. So coolant, I was trying to figure out the oil drain, which almost seems impossible right now, but we'll work on coolant lines, probably the fuel lines, getting the fuel pump in, and moving forward with this thing. I might attempt to start doing some wiring while Dan's doing some of the hoses, and then that way I have a jump start on the wiring, because I think that is the thing that I'm most worried about, is just getting everything where it needs to go and then power to stuff. So that's my biggest issue, is like mentally wrapping my head around the wiring, because I'm not certain about it, but everything else is like mechanical. So hoses don't require much.
That's where I come in.
Dan, hog joggers. The fuel tank's in there now too, so, you know, picking at little things. It's coming along. We're finding all kinds of old hoses and shit around here too. I'm good. I don't know what just happened, but obviously it's smoky in here because we were plasma cutting with the door closed, but the plasma cutter just went bah! And then turned off. It literally like exploded. It was like a gunshot. I don't know what the hell happened, and I don't plan on digging into it right now, but I was cutting out a bracket for my fuel pump hanger, and I'm not gonna do it by hand because, you know, whatever reason, that Everlast plasma just exploded, right? That was so weird.
We got Carter Bill. Why are you laying down?
It's the most comfortable way to get under the dash, surprisingly.
I can't see your face at all.
This car has never run off the key, and I found the wire to start it off the key. So now I'm putting the relay in for the shifter that will allow the solenoid or the relay to activate, so I can start it with the key. So we got our neutral safety. But yeah, start with the key. ECU controls everything. Like, it's gonna be a completely different car. Street car. You street be street. If you ain't, be ain't. I know that was about street racing, but same thing applies to race cars. Shifter's in neutral. If I turn the key, the dash comes on, which is a bonus. But then one thing that's never been done before is that flicks over with the key, baby. I like that a lot. Dang, the automotive big pump. So this is the outlet of the tank right there, and the pump is just slightly higher than that. So I think we okay. It's gonna be a loud boy though. And then we'll start building some lines from here all the way to the front. Oh, Dan, we got some bulkhead fittings here. Dan's doing the fuel line, so they're going up through here. We're gonna put some bulkheads in it, make it look pretty nice. And I'm down here. I actually got the transcooler. I got the transcooler up in a spot. It actually fit there quite decently, and then we could reuse our lines. I might need to do something about getting more air up onto it. I mean, if we need to, we can space this piece down just a touch more to let air like scoop into it. But for now, that'll be fine. Lines are hooked up. Really, once we get the fuel lines in and the fuel lines done in the engine bay, the transcooler is now hooked up, and then the oil return on the turbo, we should be able to like try and fire this thing up. While he's doing that, and the car needs to be down here for him to do that, I'm gonna start working on the exhaust pipe. So we're gonna drill a hole in our bumper. A little bit scary, but we gotta do it.
It's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen. I mean, I'm terrified to be cutting into this. So I'm gonna like tape it as good as I can with painter's tape. Hopefully saves it. 4.5-inch hole saw, get our hole spot made, and then we'll build our 4-inch stainless exhaust because 5-inch, it was unnecessary in the last setup. I only went with 5-inch because the hole in the bumper was like 17.5 inches. And I wanted to like fill the space, but now we're gonna make a 4.5-inch hole so we can do a 4-inch exhaust. I already got the hole drilled, but it's ripping up some of my tape. Eek. Now I do have a trim ring to go in here too, so I mean, it didn't pull the wrap, which is nice.
One muffler.
Spinny boy muffler.
Spinny boy muffler.
Love that for me.
This thing's pretty much, now you're actually gonna hear it run. So for people that don't know, what's the reasoning behind the muffler? Because I don't think you've said that yet.
Yeah, well, so limited street, you have to run a production muffler. And this is a bit bigger than the one I wanted. And the one I wanted is still on the way, but it's here. We might as well blow the fiberglass out of this one because they say you got to have a muffler for limited street. So it's basically straight through.
Yeah.
There's not real that much muffling in there, but that fiberglass is getting blown to shit in there.
Probably on the brake.
Yeah. So they want a muffler, we're putting one in.
And what's the other neat change for people that don't know the limited West Coast rule this year?
The tire size? Yeah, so I've already said that a couple of times because I kind of screwed myself. 275 PBRs on the back. Can't use those for Texas. Got the 275 Pro radials. Can't use those for limited street. Need 255 like radial pros. So
yeah, if you want to run rowdy radial, we got those.
Yeah, we got 235s up there.
We got 235s. I've got 255s, but they're on a 16-inch wheel.
Yeah, we're all over the place. It's all good.
You're just gonna you're taking influence from Dan, where it's like, let's just have 1,100 different sets of wheels, because that's the Dan thing to do. How many sets of wheels did the BMW have at one point, Dan? Like at least 4.
You just sold off a set, didn't you?
3.5, I think.
3.5.
Yeah.
I purposely started down here because I know my welding skills aren't the best off the hop.
Dan's getting all the fuel lines done. Right deadly. To the regulator and across the front. Look how much gas is in the bottle. Yeah, you can see it there.
Anyways, that's sugaring. And you don't want that little shit to like break off on the inside pre-turbo, but I don't mind it post-turbo, so it just saves a lot of argon. I've never had an exhaust crack on me before.
Plus you're gonna break all the fiberglass out of that muffler anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to replace it anyway, so. All right, last day of thrashing before Mexico. We're actually going with the kiddos. That's why the Mexico vacation is pretty important. I just got the exhaust almost done. I have one more weld to do. Comes down here, down, out the bumper. Pretty simple, right? I just have that one weld there and then install 2 bungs. But this is about what the car is going to weigh, aside from the seats over there. The seats are 50 pounds, and it's got the heavy battery in the back and no fluids. Transmission, radiator, and fuel. What I am going to do, though, is we're going to scale it just to see where we're sitting, and we can kind of ballpark the last couple little things that we need to do to this thing. I feel like really, right now, because all the argon that I've been inhaling, and there goes a fan. So, but without further ado, let's scale it. Okay, without me in it. That's without me and the 50-pound seats, and that's with me, no seats. So add 50 pounds for seats, that puts us at 3130, 3120, and then fluids. And our biases are pretty good too. Like right now, I think we're like 55, 45-ish. I also forgot to mention that's with our 40-pound battery sitting here and not our 7-pound battery. So minus 30 pounds on top of that. Almost forgot that one. Look at Gino looking like a young Slim Shady.
I'm the real Slim Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? I am standing up. I'm just 5'1.5".
It's only because you're trying to go a different color.
Yeah,
you gotta go blonde first.
Ooh, this is like the in-between. I still have to dye and put the orange in, so...
So then we got some fuel. Dan's gonna put that in, and then we're gonna try and test fire this thing. So we've got the fuel pump actually hooked up to the ECU. That's a major thing. All the sensors in the front are hooked up. Things like shock sensor, drive shaft speed, some of the accessory sensors that I did buy aren't hooked up yet, but we're just gonna see if it'll run and drive. Maybe not drive, because the fans aren't hooked up either. But if it runs... All right, camera's up there.
Yeah, get a little oil.
Come in, Brent, okay?
Okay.
You got way too much fuel pressure.
Okay.
Back it off. It's at 72.
Oh, so close! Oh my god, it's so close!
Besides the water leak, and we might have to pull everything apart to fix it.
Oh, really?
Victory! It runs on all the cylinders. It sounded so weird because it was super quiet, but that muffler made it a lot quieter. Like, a lot quieter.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. It runs on the key. Woo! Yeah, buddy. So, Dan and I both thought it wasn't running on all cylinders because how quiet it was. So we got the temp gun out. It's running on all cylinders. It just looks good. There's very little things to do now before we go to Texas. We have 4 solid days before Texas when we get back from Mexico. I'm so happy that this runs. I'm so happy we went out of our way to make it look good, to fix the turbo kit, to make it sound good. Like, I used to hate this car. You have to understand that I like hated it with all my guts. It just sucked. I hated it. I was like, I can go fast, but it'll look dumb. Now I think I really love it, and I made it my own. Thanks to Dan, thanks to Tokyo, thanks to Gina. Yeah. Peace easy, get heavy.